Hello everybody, Peter Sciretta here from Slashfilm.com, and we are in San Diego Comic-Con, which hasn't begun yet. It's preview night.
Well, it's today. It's now 12:30 in the a.m. So today is Comic-Con.
Yay!
So watch the site. We'll have tons of updates. Here on preview night, we got to see the new film Dredd, directed by I'm not sure. Alex
Garland wrote it.
Yeah. And it stars Karl Urban as Judge Dredd, the comic book character, come to life. Of course, this is Angie Han, and this is Germain Lussier from Slashfilm. And what's the film about?
Well, Judge Dredd is like this futuristic comic book adaptation about this post-apocalyptic type world where there's one city called, I think there's probably multiple cities, but Mega City 1 is this monster city, urban area from DC to Boston, that is just like chaos and is like Manhattan times a million, and it's run by.
You almost like describe it as post-apocalyptic, but it isn't, and it has like these buildings that are like mega skyscrapers.
It's sort of it's like sort of futuristic slash post-apocalyptic. I think it's supposed to outside the world, but it's the only law there are these judges that are in this hall of something that, again, it's too late and I'm forgetting.
Hall of Justice, I think.
It's Hall of Justice? That sounds right.
Yeah, and they're basically cops that also are judges. So on the spot, they are able to assess the situation and actually make the judgment of should the person...
Judge, jury, and execution.
Yeah,
and Karl Urban plays Judge Dredd, who is, this like has the best name ever, and he and this new rookie, played by Olivia Thirlby, go on what they think is going to be a routine thing, and they end up getting locked into one of these huge megastructures that's run by this clan. It's led by a character named Mama, played by Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, and what results is the comic book version of The Raid, almost.
It should be mentioned, because I feel like there's going to be so much comparison with The Raid, it should be mentioned that this was written before The Raid was even released.
Yeah.
This was, greenlit before The Raid,
the comparisons are inevitable, but I think, like you said, The Raid was a fun movie for like our community and the film community. Not everybody's seen it. I feel
like most of the people that are going to see this probably won't have even heard of The Raid.
Yeah, and I think that, but what I like Dredd a lot. I think it was really cool, and because I expected it, he's a cool character, but it's just like, what's he gonna like, save the world like in this movie? Like, how big is this movie gonna be? But it's just so focused. It has a really cool opening scene that sort of gives you the sense of the world, and then the movie just zeroes in and is one goal. It's like it's The Raid. It's like, let's get up these things and defeat our enemy. It's almost a video game-esque structure, and that really is it really helps bring the movie into focus. And there's some really cool slow-mo, almost too much slow-mo, because there's a drug called slow-mo.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite parts of the movie, is they introduced this drug called slow-mo, which is inhaled, and the character that inhales it, you basically experience time kind of at like 1%. And there's all these great... This film's in 3D, and this is actually a film I would recommend seeing in 3D. Especially these segments where these people are on slow-mo, and you experience, like, it's shot at, like, who knows how many thousand
it's like a Phantom cam. It's got to be,
And, like, you see, like, water through the air going, like, into your face, and, like, it's really... It's funny because it's an action movie, but it has these moments of almost, like, high art. Of, like... Do you know what I mean? It's beautiful, like, photography.
A lot of the violence is art.
Yeah.
There's a lot of... It's a gory, R-rated movie.
There is a lot of blood, and it's pretty awesome. I like that. I like watching an action movie where, people get killed, and you just see, like, blood splattering everywhere, and, like, bullets tearing through people's heads. Like, it's just fun to watch.
How much, like, how many bones crushing do we see in this movie? So much.
We've seen so many movies where people get killed in any which way, and, like, you'd think that there's probably no new way to see someone, get shot. But there's at least 10 in this movie.
And you see a lot of deaths you've never seen, and in different ways, and just shot different ways. Like, I think it took a really tight story and a character. I mean, like, I was thinking, there's no really scope. We don't really learn much about this character. But I think Judge Dredd as a character is just this badass.
I think we learn just enough about that character. Actually, like, I mean, there was like during the movie for a while I was like, oh, right, we're gonna learn more about him. But I like that you don't learn too much about him. You know, you learn exactly what you need to learn.
I don't want to humanize him.
He has a bit of a character arc, but not too much. He's a little bit human, but not too much.
There's even a tease in there where like you start to learn about him, and they're like, "No, just stop there." Like when because the Thirlby character. Well, we don't. Let's not say what. I mean, it's not a huge spoiler, but I'm sure it's maybe be in the trailers. But she has a cool little thing going on.
Yeah. It should also be mentioned that this feels like a return to '80s action. Like Judge Dredd, the character, like has all these like corny, but at the same time badass, awesome lines that
and that made it so fun to watch in the theater because every time he said one of those, everyone would start cheering.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt that Karl Urban was in the theater too. That doesn't hurt.
Of course not.
No. But I mean, and again, you mentioned '80s action movies. That brings up Sylvester Stallone, who did a Judge Dredd movie that was way more over the top and had comedic elements. This doesn't have any of that. This is super like focused. That was not. That was sort of bright. This movie is very dark.
Have you read any of the comics?
No.
I haven't read the comics either.
So take that as well. But yeah, I mean, it's a dark movie. But the brightest thing is the blood and the slow-mo. The slow-mo literally becomes like almost a Dali painting. It's just like melting stuff. It's really cool.
It's like melting and shimmering.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really awesome slow-mo stuff. It's really gritty, and I also want to say like the hallways of this building almost like act as like if you were in a city, like the alleyways of a city, and like I really love what they were able to do with this building and making a building a city. Do you know what I mean? Like it really felt like this building was like a city slum, like a mini city slum.
Yeah, the idea that like that this world has these huge buildings in it, like it's just it gave it this like different twist. I don't know. I definitely did like that a lot. I do think like we mentioned the Raid at the beginning. If I hadn't seen the Raid, I would have liked this even more. Because
the Raid's a lot more clever. There's a lot more clever moments.
Because they have a lot less money to do something with, and they had to be more clever, I guess, in that movie. And there's a lot more action in the Raid.
Yeah, and the action's a lot better.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a big Hollywood movie, and I think the violence definitely is going to please the fans. The way the character is dealt with is definitely going to please the fans. You get your iconic line in there in a really cool little way. Not the...
What didn't you guys like?
Like I said, I wish I hadn't seen the Raid. Because, like, I just kept thinking, oh, man, we're stuck in this building. And it's so the Raid. And just having that thought in my head didn't let me enjoy it as much as I really wanted to. But kept coming back to that.
I haven't seen the Raid, so I didn't have that problem. I don't know. I mean, I can't pinpoint off the top of my head any one thing that I disliked about it. It just, I didn't love it. Yeah. But I just thought it was really good for what it was. It's like if you want just like, action and blood everywhere and a badass character, like this delivers. It's not too smart and it's not too dumb. Which is trickier to pull off than you would think.
Yeah, in the day and age that we're seeing films like Super 8 and all like the Expendables and these movies that are trying to harken back to the 80s films, I feel like this harkens back to the 80s films more than those do for me. And
the action film for sure.
Yeah, my minor problem with this is Lena Headey. I really didn't like her as the villain Mama, who's kind of like this leader of this organization. I don't know, it felt kind of cartoony, and it didn't really feel like she... I don't know. I just didn't buy her. I don't know why.
I liked her a lot. But I mean, do you watch Game of Thrones?
I've watched the first season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's pretty badass. Okay. I thought she was good in this. I've seen her. I love her in the Sarah Connor Chronicles. It was that great show that they canceled. So I liked her a lot in this.
Did you say great show?
Sarah Connor?
I mean, it was canceled, yes.
I love that show. I love that show.
One last thing I want to say is the one thing that this movie definitely is going to do is kill any chance of a Raid remake. I don't think that a Raid remake could happen after people...
Unless they do something different with it. Not in a building this time. But Dredd, it comes out in a couple months, and it's solid. You guys like it?